welcome to my front yard garden tour for October. I'm really glad to have you here now because things are actually looking a little bit more colorful and a little bit more refreshed than they had for the summertime, certainly. Woohoo! I got a bee right in my face. Hi you guys, this is Nicole from My Carolina Garden. My garden is located in growing zone 8B and we are in southeastern North Carolina. We don't always show this side of my garage because quite frankly, we're parked up with cars all the time. But this time of year, there's something so special here that I have to show you. It's a fall blooming shrub called the camellia. And this camellia, I mean, look at it. It's absolutely full of blooms. So if you live in zone 7 to 9, I very highly recommend this camellia. Now, make sure you're reading tags if you are out to purchase a camellia because there are spring blooming varieties as well as fall. Clearly, this is a fall blooming variety. And boy, isn't it just so refreshing to get this beautiful, vibrant color this time of year when everything else is like turning brown and dying? Yes, for sure. So camellia over here, and I had just freshened up this garden bed yesterday with extra mulch, so I'm feeling super good about it. So I struggle with what to actually do along my front walkway. So as people are entering toward the front porch, I have not really been sure what I want to put here. And I've thought often about adding drifts of things and, I don't know, sort of guiding the eye up the pathway. Well, the closest thing I have found to something I like is the lemon coral sedum. Now, clearly right now it's starting to go from its chartreuse color into its fall color. So it's getting some like pinks and reds on it, which is cool. The only thing is we do get spots where it's like bare. So I don't know if I just have to be super diligent about filling those spots in, but I'd like this to be like a beautiful carpet, if you will, all alongside the pathway. The other thing I tried this year was I added my mandevilla plant here because people do things like petunias all the time in their gardens and they show off for them. Petunias don't do well for me, so I tried to do this. It's fine. It's got a lot of blooms on it, but it's not like super full, and I was hoping it would be. So we're always going to be changing out the possibilities here to see what will actually work the best. But what I just did to freshen up this flower bed was I re-edged everything. I added in all those yellow liriope in the front there. There's 12 of them in total, so they span the whole front area of the garden bed. And I have a fresh sharp line there and fresh mulch that I, like I said, had just done. So at least I feel super good about that. And then, as I said, I need to figure out some things inside. I have my vitamums that are here, and I have 2 of them because I had put them in the ground last fall. And these are the best mums that I have found completely. They've been blooming for a long time and only now do I have to do some deadheading on them. So they lasted way longer than the other standard mums. And then of course the cabbage has been here too. And it worked just fine staying here throughout the whole very oppressive heat and humidity of the summer. Before we get any further into the garden in that direction, I had to point out the lantana again. I know I pointed out a lot in my front yard garden tours, but this shrub is amazing because it has so many blooms on it. And of course, this time of year, I mean, it looks just like candy corn and pumpkins and all the colors of fall all mixed into these tiny clusters of flowers. So lantana, I know, can be invasive in some areas like in Florida, but it is not invasive here. And as I said, it is an outstanding performer, so I wanted to make sure we gave it some love today. Another fall blooming shrub is the loropetalum. So the loropetalum, this has been here since I moved into the house 10 years ago. The builder had put it in front of the front porch, tiny little things that ends up growing into a huge hedge. But you get these magenta fringe flowers. This can also be called Chinese fringe flower. And it actually happens twice a year. I think it blooms maybe in March time frame and then again in the fall. So it ends up being really cool as long as you want the extra height on your shrubs. Then I think this is awesome, and I love the fringe flower look. And as we go in this direction, Couple other little flower things to point out seasonally. This is the kaleidoscope abelia, and the kaleidoscope is known for like its multicolored foliage and flower blooms. So these flower blooms are putting on their fall color, getting like their pinks and warm tones put into both the foliage and the flowers. So that's something that's just a little extra delight for this time of year. And then behind me is one of my most favorite things. This also was something that came directly from the builder when we moved in here. This is the Yaupon weeping holly, and check out the orange berries that are on here. Now, when we did a garden tour in the summer or the end of the summer, the berries were already showing up, but they were green. Now they're orange, and they're going to turn a spectacular red for winter time. Right in the center front of my garden, I have probably the biggest rock that we carted in from upstate New York. I think it is. This is one a long time ago you saw us, took two of us to heave this thing off of our four-wheeler to put it into place. And my husband said, once it gets on the ground right there, we are not moving it again. So this rock, Purple Heart, and these kind of orange colored geraniums, very cool items all together. The Purple Heart, something I've talked about before, it's perennial here. I'm in zone 8B, so I don't have to worry about it going away and never coming back, which is nice to have color that's always here. And this is the thing that's also considered like succulent style, so you can break off a stem and reroot the Purple Heart. So that's awesome. The geraniums, I'm actually surprised they're blooming again, to be honest with you, but the coloring on it's awesome for right now, so we're just rolling with it. So the yellow-ish liriope that I said I did as the front like layer of this garden, this is the 12th one here. So it goes all the way from the start, all the way to here, and then we round the corner going this direction. So over here in this bed, this is my Kilmarnock willow that's in the middle. I only planted that in March, so it's the first year I've had it. So I'm not really sure what to expect from it this time of year and so on. However, there are some little buds here where I'm gonna have like the new pussy willows coming out. So I did want to point those out because that seems to happen like every few months, but the greatest show of it was back in March. Besides that, my Dusty Miller just keeps getting bigger. That was planted here in March as well, so never had that in the ground either. And then we have the Dragon's Breath celosia, which is amazing. Everything about the foliage and the flower is just super cool. And these were babies that reseeded themselves in my backyard that I just dug up and brought them up here to enjoy. Outside of that, I wish I had some beautiful dahlias to show you like some people have had. They're okay, but we're kind of fading fast over here. So I have a few little buds, but this was the Dahlia motto that I started with the bare root earlier this year. I may or may not do that again. It's kind of a lot, staking up the tall dahlias and such. I better point this out now because it is a fall color. This is the Vermilion Air right here. And so like the orange, like firecracker style bloom on it is pretty neat. This guy's been here. This was one of the very first plants I bought when I moved in here 10 years ago. So he's been with me for a long time and I love that. And then I have the golden euonymus in the back corner, and I just want that baby to get tall so it like blocks the side of the house and gives me some real color right in front of it. So another garden space that you very rarely see is this one here where I have a red bud, which is small at the moment, and behind it is the pink muhly grass. So the like little delicate tufts that come up have a more vibrant pink as they get bigger. But anyway, I have 3 of those in here. This area just got freshened up as well, so I redid the edging, added some additional mulch in here. So we're just a little bit more dressed up and have a little bit more curb appeal over here. Ideally, this garden bed itself is going to get larger because we want to kind of really landscape around the corner of our yard, and here we are in the very front corner. So Peninsula Garden is directly behind us and we're going to head there next. All right, so Peninsula Garden over here. Lots of tired looking things, so I'm not going to go ahead and point everything out, of course. The golden sword yucca, I do always like to point out though, because it's an evergreen feature plant. So it stands up tall and proud, giving us that color no matter what time of year it is. Now directly in front of that, this is the autumn fire sedum that I got. The unfortunate part for me is, now this is the first time I ever had this one. I thought I was going to be seeing vibrant red up at the top, and I almost feel like it's a brown red. Slightly disappointed in that. I don't know if more red is coming, but I feel like this would be the last stage of it. So anyway, that's my thought on that. The blanket flowers, blanket flowers, they keep going and going. They'll go until frost time. The big thing for me is keeping them deadheaded. Still have a lot of blanket flowers throughout though. You're gonna see them continuing to come up. It's a lot of work. I don't always have the time to get all the deadheading done. Now in the back here, I have my zebra grasses as like the last layer in the peninsula garden because I was aiming to get taller as we went that direction. But one of the things I added this year that was just a little garden delight are the purple mandevilla. So this is, you know, the plant I talked about being colored like this for 2025. So I have one here in the front, one in the back. Both of them still are amazing. I am going to overwinter the purple because I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to find it again in 2026. But again, heading this direction, Vinca's getting tired. But these blanket flowers, as I said, I mean, still looking green and looking tall. So they don't look wimpy at all. All right, I'm gonna walk you into the island of misfit toys so we can see what is going on in that garden bed. So the island of misfit toys is always in motion. Things always are changing out here as I try to improve it. So what is the latest and greatest in this garden space? Oh boy, another golden sword yucca right there, just standing proud as always. I have my azaleas here that are fall blooming azaleas in red. I have very few red plants, but these got those going on. This is my double play candy corn spirea that I just planted, and my pearl glam other shrub that I just planted. So those are brand new, still tiny for right now, but they won't always stay that way. I do really like the agave that's here too. Not so much in its small form, but oh my gosh, around the Wilmington area here, you see some of these in people's yards that are huge. And the structure of them is just super cool because of the rosette style that they have. So I am going to love those very much moving forward. Outside of that, here's my thought. I have my holly bush here that I can see is just starting to put on its little tiny berries right now. So I have this here from my clearance sale last year, as well as my couple of evergreens that are here, the Anna's Magic Balls. This is the next spot that will get developed and filled in as I get more things. So I suspect 2026 is going to be a wonderful year for the Island of Misfit Toys as I add more and figure out how to get super creative. Super creative. I want to build some kinds of garden decor with my husband's help and just figure out how to fill in this space, because honestly, I'm not out here a whole heck of a lot to be trimming and deadheading. So I think some very beautiful garden decor is probably the ticket for me. Is anybody else building garden decor, like using maybe fall time frame to build when it's like a little cooler and we could be outside pleasantly? Let me know if you are, because I am looking for ideas. I'm thinking of all sorts of things, but like maybe some fountains. I don't know. I'm in the mood to build though. Now that the gardening season's kind of coming to a close, I'm in the mood to build. I look forward to sharing my ideas with you and whatever I come up with, because who knows, maybe it's going to be something that you'll want to build in your garden too. Thank you for being with me. Please subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. And until next time, you guys, happy planting.